To get a $100,000 settlement in 8 days or less, you'll likely need all of these things to happen. The person or company who caused your accident needs to be clearly at fault. If this happens, they're less likely to aggressively defend the case. They'll be less likely to download the event data recorder that captures the speed of the vehicles in an accident. They'll also be less likely to hire experts to defend the case. As an example, I'll use my client's case where the at-fault driver's insurance company sent us a check for $100,000 just 8 days after the accident. In this case, the at-fault driver was clearly at fault. My client was heading straight and the at-fault driver made a left-hand turn right into him. However, the result would have been the same if the at-fault driver would have rear-ended my client, or if the at-fault driver would have run a red light and if there was cameras that captured it or witnesses who placed the other driver directly at fault, or if the other driver admitted to his insurance company that he or she ran the red light. You'll likely need to report the claim to the other driver's insurance company very fast after the accident. Sometimes the at-fault driver will not contact his or her insurance company and report the claim. When you contact the at-fault driver's insurance company to report the claim, be very careful. They can use any recordings against you. If you hire a personal injury attorney, that will prevent the other side's insurance company from taking advantage of you. To have a chance at getting a $100,000 settlement offer in 8 days or less, you'll also likely need huge damage to the cars involved in the crash. Here's a couple of photos from my client's case, and you can see that both my client's car and the other driver's car were very badly damaged. To have the highest chance at getting a $100,000 settlement offer in 8 days or less, you'll also likely need to have spent the night or nights at the hospital. If you spent several nights at the hospital, it shows the other driver's insurance company that you're badly injured. Be sure to take photos of yourself in the hospital bed or ask a nurse to take photos of you and quickly send those to the other driver's insurance company. Here's a photo of my client Ryan in the hospital, and I sent this photo to the at-fault driver's insurance company, Allstate, very fast after my client sent it to me. Also, if you spent several nights at the hospital, the other driver's insurance company is going to know that the hospital bill is likely going to be very large. And one of the largest factors that leads to large personal injury settlements is large medical bills. To have the highest chance at getting a $100,000 settlement offer in 8 days or less, you're likely going to need to have had surgery, and particularly one where the doctors put a plate and screws into your body. If the doctor shows you an image of the plate and screws in your body, take a photo of it with your phone and be sure to send that to the at-fault driver's insurance company. And as soon as you leave the hospital, ask them to send you the images of the plate and screws in your body. If you were transported around the hospital in a wheelchair, make sure you get a photo of that and quickly send it to the at-fault driver's insurance company. Now, you don't necessarily need surgery to have a chance of getting a $100,000 settlement offer in 8 days or less. If you had bleeding of the brain or severe burns to your body, that may also qualify. To have the highest chance possible at getting a $100,000 settlement offer in 8 days or less, you'll likely need the other driver to have a $100,000 insurance policy limit for bodily injury liability coverage. If the other driver has a $100,000 bodily injury liability limit and your injuries are severe like the ones that I've discussed, it puts pressure on the other driver's insurance company to pay quickly. The at-fault driver's insurance company knows that if they don't pay and you were to sue them and take it to trial and get a verdict against their insured may then later sue them for the amount above the policy limits. And the insurance company for the at-fault driver never wants to pay a penny above their insurance limit. Be sure to request the other driver's insurance information and policy limits in writing. And make sure that the at-fault driver's insurance company swears under oath to what the policy limits are. In a state like Florida, where I'm a personal injury attorney, if you request that the at-fault driver's insurance company tell you what the policy limits are, they have to tell it to you in writing. But even if the at-fault driver's insurance company sends you a check for $100,000 within 8 days or less of the accident, the battle's not over. If your health insurance paid for your medical bills or if workers' compensation paid for your medical bills, they are going to try to get money from the settlement. The good news is if you have an attorney, your health insurance company or workers' compensation insurance company must reduce their payback amount by your attorney's fees and costs. For example, in Ryan's case, he was working during the accident and his workers' compensation insurer paid over $85,000 for medical bills relating to the accident. But because he had an attorney in this case, I required that they reduce that $85,000 lien all the way down to $8,000. Before you settle your personal injury case with the at-fault driver's insurance company, make sure that you've looked for all available insurance coverage. You also want to look for any underinsured motorist insurance if you have that on a policy, or any other insurances that may pay. Here, my client Ryan had uninsured motorist insurance on his personal cars, and even though he was driving a rental car and he was out of state, we made a claim against his underinsured motorist insurance company. We didn't accept the $100,000 settlement offer within 8 days after the accident because that could have killed my client's chances for getting any underinsured motorist insurance coverage benefits from his policy. Also, had we settled the case with the at-fault driver's insurance company, my client could have lost his chances to bring a claim in state court, and we could have wound up in federal court. In federal court, it's tougher to recover costs in the case, even if you win. Ryan broke his lower leg bone, the tibial plateau, and he had surgery. For a short period of time after the accident, Ryan needed a wheelchair in order to get into the van to go to and from his medical appointments. He had someone take a photo of this, and we sent this to Ryan's underinsured motorist insurance company. Take photos of any scars that you have. Ryan thought he was having an allergic reaction to the plate and screws that were put in his lower leg bone, and the doctor performed an allergy test, and there were some patches that were put on his back, and we sent those to the insurance adjuster as well. You may need to also pay money to your doctor so that he writes a report that details the long-term effects of your injury. I paid $300 to have a phone conference with the doctor who operated on Ryan's leg at the hospital. Unfortunately, his testimony for Ryan wasn't very favorable. That surgeon said that the car accident shortened the life of Ryan's knee, and he also said that he would get arthritis sooner than if he did not have a car accident, but he would not say when Ryan would need a knee replacement, so the testimony really wasn't that helpful. I got Ryan's underinsured motorist insurance company, Travelers, to pay $200,000 to settle the case, so that brings the entire settlement to $300,000. You can see that Ryan got over $187,000 in his pocket after paying for attorney's fees and costs and paying back the workers' compensation insurer and medical bills. This means that over $292,000 of the $300,000 settlement was for pain and suffering. The rest was to pay back Ryan's workers' compensation insurance company and medical bills. I've told you some of the benefits of hiring a personal injury attorney, but do you even really need one? To see when you may not need a personal injury attorney, watch this video here. And if you're seriously injured in the state of Florida or on a cruise and you're considering hiring an attorney, fill out the contact form in the link below, and I'll see you next time.